make we no talk.
Then like it, share it, invite your friends, invite your not so friendly friends, and tell them all to join us, because Maiyegun today, Maiyegun is live. So right now that the Nigeria National Assembly have now been discussing the state of the country, as much as they are moral, like as much as they are just like a rubber stamp, so to say, but somehow they are kind of like raising some valid points, and well, that you wish and hope, right, that they will act upon, or let me say the Tinubu's regime will act upon. For example, the senators today, right, one of them actually requested that these people negotiating for the terrorists in Nigeria should be arrested, including Gumi. And the man even said, even his own son, if his own son is found wanting, he should be arrested. Right? This obnobbing, doing meetings with terrorists, like we have been witnessing, that the government of Tinubu should, at this point, end all of that. Meanwhile, before I even get into all of this, right, I think there is one information you should know. For those of you that have been expecting any other action from the United States government, Tinubu's regime has managed to actually cut themselves a deal just like to buy time. So Nigeria is currently designated or redesignated by Donald Trump as a country of particular concern due to religious persecution, genocide going on in Nigeria, right? This argument is currently being countered by a lot of people, but yet a lot are still kind of like wondering, what is Donald Trump going to do? And when is he going to actually really act? Yeah. So he's likely not going to act anytime soon or act at all. So from what I have kind of like confirmed now, so after Referendum met with XF in Washington, right? So they sort of like put together an arrangement called Nigeria-US something partnership. In this regard, right, America will give weapons worth $2 billion to Nigeria in the next 4 years, like from now till the next 4 years. America will work with the Nigerian security or military to further annihilate these terrorists. And Tinubu's regime has now pledged that they are ready, they are willing to accept Americans' help in tackling these terrorists. So because of that, I call it buying time. So in case if you are still wondering, when is Trump coming? He may not come anytime soon, as Tinubu's regime has managed to buy a $2 billion worth of time. That is, buy weapon from America, share intel with America, and then at the same time, let America come in, train you, I don't know, whatever partnership they call it. That's ongoing. So the National Assembly now are proposing that at this point, what is wrong if Nigerians are given the right to own their own guns? And we are talking about automatic rifles to defend themselves. That if the military have become so overwhelmed, the ideal thing is right now for Tinubu to let the people defend themselves. So tonight we are going to go listen to a lot of their chit chat and all that, right? Among other stories that we have for tonight, all right? So please share the broadcast if you haven't already. Yeah, please. So let's start with this.
But today, almost all the local governments in Zone C, that is Niger North, have been afflicted with this serious issue of insecurity. I know Mr. President is doing very well, and he deserves commendation for the fact that he has to show his international engagements and to be having briefings from service chiefs almost every day. But we must also help Mr. President. We also have to help the armed forces. If a kidnap is done today, where hundreds of kids are being taken. And then the same hundreds of kids are being negotiated upon to get their return. What we're supposed to do is to ask ourselves, who is the intermediary between those armed bandits and those that want these kids to be released? You want a solution. We know where the solution is, but we are not bold enough to face it. They use phones to call people to negotiate and even tell where these people will go to pick those guys, those children they have released. My colleague is talking about technology. If our armed forces don't have it, our security or intelligence agencies don't have it, then we are not yet serious about tackling security in this country. Because for every phone call, there's a coordinate. And these people are there sending messages, sending clips on social media, making our country a laughingstock. If we want to help Mr. President, it is not only Mr. President that will give directive. The Senate is a legislative chamber that will, whatever resolution we take here is binding. Why must we wait until president? Is it everybody that will go to the president and ask for order? We should give that order here. Who are the people negotiating? We grab those people first. And then let them tell us how they link. What is their link with these bandits? It should not be business as usual. Families are suffering. So people are living in their comfort places, making phone calls with these bandits. Can't we identify them? We can identify them. How do we do it? The gadgets we have bought for the National Security Advisor, the gadgets we have bought for telecommunications, they will be able to tell us where all these people are. But we are here, we are sending them blames. It started from one local government. It started from Bono. In one local government. And today it's spreading everywhere. No state is immune. I don't want to put politics in this thing. No politics. It's a reality. If I have my brother, my son, if he's doing this thing, he should be picked. The law should take its course. We are confusing him. We're supposed to help him. How did the phones originate? They will arrest 58 and release 58. No gunshots, no arrest, nothing. And then tomorrow we wake up to another banditry. Why should it be like that? Mr. President, it is on you as our leader to tackle this thing head on without any fear or favor. We will stand for you. We voted for you. We should not be here playing politics with the life of this country. We must own our responsibilities. Mr. President will direct, but we have to do our own to help him to navigate well. The United States of America have come up with an issue that there's insecurity in Nigeria. It's not for Mr. President to handle alone. The two chambers of the National Assembly are supposed to take this issue very seriously. We're supposed to be a legislature that will engage another legislature. If a senator or a congressman will talk, a senator and a congressman in Nigeria supposed to talk and engage them? They represent their own people, we represent our own people. We should be given the opportunity, Mr. President, to engage these people directly on ways and means they think they can give us intelligence informations, as they did before. There was kidnapping in Nigeria of an American, and they came, rescued in our own land. What are we talking about? I rest my case, Mr. President.
But look, it is only Tinubu that can sanction any form of operation that is related to terrorism. But this senator was proposing that they should usurp Tinubu's power by pretending again in his presentation that Tinubu has so much to do. So this Senate can act. No, they can't. In that sense, so what you can do is to bring Tinubu to your chamber and make him answer all your questions about security and insecurity. And I'm talking about including technical questions. Nobody should answer for him. They all answer to him. So his office will present, so they will prepare his answers, what they have done and all of that. So all of you can confirm. But it's just talk, Sha. You know what I mean? Like, it's all just talk. Because they know what to do. Few times they've invited these service chiefs, right? Who have appeared only to just the same thing, all talks. So yeah, it's embarrassing for real, it is. Because how do you say you rescued children who were kidnapped and their teacher was killed? Don't forget, they also killed their teacher in that school in Kirby. So a murder has been committed. Kidnapping itself is a capital offense. You don't kidnap people. It's a capital offense. You spend the rest of your life in jail. And if anybody dies in the process of kidnapping, then you are going to be hung. You know what I mean? They are going to hang you in a place where there is law. But in Nigeria, how do you rescue children? There was no gunshot, there was no arrest, and all of that. And you turn around and told the country of 200 million people that you have rescued kidnapped school children. It is embarrassing because somehow it's like they are talking to idiots, unfortunately. But here is another senator who boldly asked that Tinubu should let them carry gun. Again, there is legislation, you have laws that covers your guns ownership in Nigeria. So it is the job of, implementation, execution. Because the Senate can look into your laws, right? Amend them that allows people with certain qualifications or background check, whatever it is they want to use, to be granted gun licenses. Organizations like vigilantes for different communities, they can all come together, right? Whether the local government chairman or their own local government will provide a guarantorship for them. And they will be able to acquire license that will allow them to buy automatic rifles to defend their communities. All of this can be done by the senators themselves by amending your laws. But no, this one is saying that maybe Tinubu should just allow them. Again, all talks.
Mr. President, my distinguished colleagues, I think it is an hour of truth now. We have to tell ourselves the truth. We will tell Mr. President the truth so that we are not going to be consumed. All. The questions are so many, but few will be asked. This within Nigeria, what of their captors, particularly the hostages? They are here in Nigeria. Then we are now talking of technology. Which technology? As a nation, we have a nation with full military power. That's what we call Nigeria, which all of us belong to. then some tortured, wretched boys are now holding us to ransom. And we are saying, our former president is here now. We nearly impeached the president. But this president has spent a lot of his time and fund on this military. But the same military refuses to yield, to even perform and form. And it's now, we are now owing a lot to our people. The military architecture, I retired at an equivalent of a lieutenant general in the service. The military, that is the soldiers, that's the army, the navy, and the air force. They don't take any other apart from the commander-in-chief or anybody that is representing them of higher caliber. That is a general. The command structure of what is happening today. The minister is not a soldier, a retired general. The minister of state, all of them are businessmen. The NSA is a retired policeman. And do you know what the soldiers call us? There's a soldier here retired. More gun than them. They call us bloody civilians. They don't regard us. And that is what is affecting us on ground there now. The CEC needs to look at its military architectural design around him and do the needful. If not, we will continue to waste money. Because they will not take order from any other person other than their own general. We are in almost in military rule and we are at war. He should stand as the real, he's a commander-in-chief because he listens and is spending on them. That is what can really solve the problem. Today, almost 120-something countries have already legalized carrying arms by sane and respectable people. I think it is time for Nigeria to allow us to be carrying arms. If not, these boys, you see them, you will just be free because there are not too many. It is time for us to stand and make a law that it is criminal for the negotiator, because the negotiators are even eating deep into what is happening today. Where is the bank where they normally withdraw such huge of money to settle them, including the banks, including the negotiator and the kidnappers? They are all criminals and they should face death penalty. I submit, sir. Mr. President.
What shall I say unto the Lord?
Yes, Lord.
All I have to say,
Thank you, Lord.
what
shall I say? Thank you,
So you see, somebody finally said it. That is, you have been pretending to have a democracy all this while. You have also been pretending to have Nigeria. They are calling Nigeria a federation. They are pretending to you that you have a democracy. No, you don't. Your military owes their allegiance to the seat of power, not to the country. And I am saying this without any sort of like a benefit of doubt. Now, it is what it is. The Nigerian military will protect the power, the seat of power, than the way they will defend Nigeria. And there are many, many factors that points to this. Okay? Your constitution was written for you by the military. There was never any referendum to vote on the constitution that ushered in your democracy. That's the beginning, to let you know. But then when you now read the constitution, One man, one person is the most powerful person in the country, and he is the president. He's so powerful that the federation that you practice or you pretend to be practicing, or federation, capital, federal capital, then federating units. No, they are just like the branches of the executives. A federation means all the federating units will be independent. Federating state will be independent of the federal. They will be they will be generating their own money and be paying taxes to the center. The center can also come into some of these places to also generate their own taxes. So, but guess what? You are not going to be a subordinate of any president. Your constitution is a unitary constitution. It's not a democratic constitution. A democratic constitution means people will write it, people will review it, people will vote on it, yes or no, before it becomes the law. But they are ruling you with a fake law, a fake constitution. Because if it was a kind of like a true federation, right? If Nigeria was a true federation, these things that are now popping up, resource control, self-defense, and whatever other things that are popping up, this tribalism, ethnicism, religious supremacy, pushing Sharia left and right, all those things, right? They would have been sorted a long time ago. Because by then, it simply means each state, independent states in that federating unit, that federation, right? Each independent state can decide how they want to run their state, as long as it sort of like complies with the general law that governs everyone to some extent. You get that now? Oh no, they didn't do that. They just ushered you in, pretended that you have a democracy. And that is why today in your democracy, you cannot gather without the blessing of those in power. Meanwhile, in your constitution, it is written there that you can gather peacefully, protest peacefully. Nobody, in fact, police were supposed to protect you. But that's not true. That's not the reality, because it is written in your law, but it is not being practicalized because you don't have a democracy. Insecurity. Tinubu's ally, Yayi, also jumped in the conversation. So listen.
Well, Mr. President, let me quickly correct one or two impressions. Number one, at no point have you teleguide any senator from saying anything he or she wants to say on the floor of the Senate. I've not witnessed one, I've not seen one, and I've not heard of one. So that needs to be clear. At no point have you teleguide any senator from saying anything on this issue. Number two, at no point has any senator, either from either side of the aisle, have been on any side on this particular motion that is currently before us. We are on the same page. We all believe that the security of this nation is sacrosanct, and every one of us are concerned concerning the current situation of security as far as the country is concerned. Mr. President, on this note, let me commend the President, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, for at least ensuring the release of the 38 Eruku community in Kwara State and the students of Kebbi State that have been released. I want to commend the President, and I believe that he's doing everything within the ambit of the law to ensure our country, Nigeria, is secure. Mr. President, I want us to know in this Senate that Nigeria is at war. Nigeria is at war because these terrorists, the Islamabad, the Boko Haram, and all others are not known to our system. They are not known to our system. They are not Nigerians. They are not Nigerians. They are coming into this country to disrupt the peace of our country. And again, we can finger international conspiracy in all of this, because there are some videos that you will see helicopter dropping arms in some pickup van. Where is that helicopter coming from? Who owns those vans? So, Mr. President, Nigeria is at war, and international conspiracy is involved. So we should all understand that, and we should not trivialize this matter. Because at 2024, the security report before us shows that we have the lowest number of kidnapping and insecurity in Nigeria. 2024. And by November 2025, everywhere is agog with kidnappings and banditries and everywhere. So, Mr. President, I'm calling on my colleague. Please, let's keep an open mind on this matter. Let's speak to the truth of this matter. Let's address this issue as a Nigerian. It's the collective responsibility of everybody for this country to be well secured. And I mean it and I say it, so that nobody should come and say that anybody on this side of men and women of the Nigerian military, because they are father and mother of a particular family, they are father and mother to some children. So if they are on the war front defending this nation, the integrity and the sovereignty of this country, I think they need to be commended. I commend them. And for the investigation which we are carrying out on the issue of Kebbi, since Sunday morning, these terrorists notify that they are coming to that school. So deploying military, leaving by 1 o'clock, it should be an holistic investigation. There's something going on social media now. They are even announcing the next town, villages they are coming to. We should not just put it by the side. So, Mr. President, distinguished colleague, I believe this Senate will have taken the bull by the horn. The only thing is that we should expedite action on the security summit we are putting together. We should expedite action on it. We should move fast. Because if we have any position paper, if we have any document to put together to give to the executive, the action must start now, and we must do it as soon as possible. I so submit.
Nuisance lele. Nuisance lele.
The first thing you're going to ask yourself is that why was it screaming? Because it's empty. And as a sycophant himself, right? He needed to put energy into it by just saying nonsense. So let's take a look at what he said. Just a few of them. Initially, he disputed another colleague of his who said in that Senate where Akpabiole ruled, right? It is known that Akpabiole is always pretty much on this side of Tinubu, the executive. So preventing the Senate from doing its job as the ones that will be, doing the checks and balances on the executives, right? So that was what he's responding to. But at the same time, he categorically said Nigeria is at war. He didn't lie about that. Also, probing the military, because they're compromised, of course, right? The incident that happened in Kebbi, where they had military around the area and they got withdrawn from the area a few hours before the attack. Meanwhile, the terrorists have already said they were coming to attack. And the children were taken, right, for about 5-6 days. Then they got released. There was no arrest. Meanwhile, when they took these children in Kebbi, they killed their teacher. You know what I mean now? Like, that's a crime. So he pointed that out. Nigeria is at war with who? This terrorist. Tinubu is doing his best. How do you know he's doing his best? When you are actually waiting for the next victims. That's not doing your best. Now, if those who are seen as saboteurs, like your military, those who have been suspected to have either breached any form of intel or order or whatever, so automatically in the military setting, there is kind of like a system to how to search people. But how do you search people when the entire place is crawling, with them? Anyway, for the Senate, right? Yayi, who wants to be governor of Ogun State in 2027, that's in 2 years' time. So he is an ally of Tinubu, and therefore he would never admit that if the Tinubu's military or the service chiefs are not up to the task, right? So Tinubu is the only person who could actually decide what to do with them, rather than continue to say they are doing well, they are doing their best, and the blah, the blah, the blah. So he also said there is an international hand in all of this. Now, a senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, in my own opinion, should be more equipped with, facts, because if a senator in Nigeria is aware that there is an international conspiracy against Nigeria, right, where he said, Nigeria was rated as the country with least kidnappings in 2024. Who rated Nigeria then? You get what I mean now? So to him, Donald Trump, wading into this, and then immediately after his tweet, these kidnappings continues, like it's just escalated and all of that. In his own mind, there is this conspiracy against Nigeria. But the point now is this, is the conspiracy against Nigeria coming from Nigerians themselves, or it is coming from the outer, the external factor that he's saying? Well, I don't know your own conspiracy, by the way, but here is a guy who is a northerner and a former senator himself, and also somebody who is in the book of Tinubu right now. But he categorically admitted to it. I said, well, let's stop pretending. These terrorists, they are northerners. They speak Kanuri, they speak Hausa, they speak other languages that we speak, and the blah, the blah. Listen.
The terrorists killing people in northeastern part of Nigeria are not from Congo. They are not from Malawi. They are not from Namibia. They are not from Egypt. They are northerners and they are Muslims. The bandits in the northwestern part of Nigeria, they are not from Senegal. They are not from Mali. They are not from Morocco. They are not from Guinea or Guinea-Bissau. They are Fulanis from the northwestern part of Nigeria. So it is for us to solve the problem. It is not for anybody to solve the problem. They are not speaking Chinese, they are speaking Fulani language. They are not speaking Spanish, they are speaking Hausa language. They are not speaking Mandarin, they are speaking Kanuri languages. When will the North sit down and address the whole of these bandits and terrorists are not more than 5,000 people?
Well, maybe he's wrong on that one. They are more than 5,000. They are in fact more than 50,000. They have a community of them like all over. So, except that. But yeah, they are Muslims. They are Fulanis. They are from the northwest of Nigeria. They are from the northeast of Nigeria. Boko Haram and the rest of them. Yeah, they have their allies. They are also joined them from this Chad and what have you. But these ones, terrorizing people, threatening people, they are actually kids. Watch this video. This one is actually threatening a farmer who is currently harvesting from his farm, right? And this little boy brought his cows, right, onto the farm to graze on that farm that they are harvesting. And when the farmer protested, this little boy actually threatened to kill the farmer. In Hausa,
mu buje ka akan me zamu bije ka da an maka magana an ce kai mutane banna kai kai mutane banna kana nufin kai kana nufin kai mutane banna ba za a yi ma magana ba ba za a ce kana banna ba yanzu kai ai na muke iskancin mu waye mu to kai ma aka je wani za ka yi magana wato yanzu na kana ganin kai nan ka kai kenan za ka zo kai mana rashin kunya to ka zo ka sara wanda za ka sara da cira adan naka ka sara A'a ya ce zai sassare mu ko? To ya cire addan ya sari wanda zai sara. Ka cire addan mu ga mu duka sassare mu. Ba kana maganan adda zaka cire baka sare mu to ka sari wanda zaka sara ga muna. Ka sari wanda zaka sara. Tunda ka ce kai ka fi kowa zafin rai ka sari wanda zaka sara. Ga addan nan cire. Waye bugan ma dabba? Ba wanda ya bugan ma dabba. Tunda ka ce za ka sare mu ne duk wanda za ka sara ka sara. Duk wanda za ka sara ka zo ka sara. Ba ka sara za ka yi ba ka zo ka cire addan naka ka zo ka sara. Alle yaro. Ai so nake ka cire addan naka ka sara wanda za ka saran.
A little boy, do you really think if those boys have guns, right, the story will still be the same? No. Yeah, you're right. Somebody just pointed out and said, under Bukwari, they told us that these terrorists, these Fulani terrorists are not they were not Nigerians. They said they were from Chad, Niger, and all these places. So when we started probing that, how did they get into Nigeria? And how did they get so deep into Nigeria that they are kidnapping people in the southern part of Nigeria, collecting ransoms? Oh, they said, yeah, it's because of the war in Libya. It was because of that. After the removal of Gaddafi, the same story they were telling us about Boko Haram, remember? So they told the same story for this Fulani terrorist. Then like jokes like Joko, that story of them not being Nigerians changed. And they said, oh, for peace to reign, the fight in Nigeria is farmers others clashes. Farmers others clashes, what does that even mean? Like, the others not have their own place they were grazing and all that, like before now. So how come that we're now seeing videos of these same others carrying AK-47 gun, right? And at the same time, uprooting people's farm produce and feeding them to their cows? How is that about looking for green grass to graze on? They said, oh, for the solution now, we have to allow open grazing. So Boko Haram started looking for grazing routes from 1941. Oh, there was a grazing route in 1941. I said, are you mad? How could Fulani have grazing routes in Yoruba land, for example, that they say, oh, this land, oh, this path, oh, is for Fulanis? How could you have, how could the Igbos have Fulani land in Igbo land and say, this path, oh, nationally, oh, Fulani get them, because they have to graze their cows? Where did you sign that arrangement? They did everything. They blackmailed us, they gaslighted us, they called us, they threatened us. Then they changed that. They said, okay, you know what? We are just going to make laws. If all of you are not going to give them land for peace, we'll just make laws and take all the waterways in Nigeria, as well as 10 miles. Do you remember that time when they were doing the waterway bill, right? Boko Haram was going to take over all the waterways in Nigeria, and not just the waterways. You see, the land, the bank of the river or any water in Nigeria, from the bank of that river or that water, you now count 10 miles away. 10 miles, so that's like about 14 or 13 kilometers of land. So that land will belong to the federal government of Nigeria. So we raised the alarm and said it was the plan to resettle the Fulani terrorists among us legally. So Boko Haram tried, but he didn't succeed before he died. Tinubu said he will continue from where Boko Haram stopped. Right now, he is now dealing with Boko Haram's created problem. He's not willing to actually deal with the problem. He's managing it, unfortunately. So everyone who wants to make you believe that these guys are just outsiders, fine. However, somebody just told us that indeed they are northerners. So if they are northerners, That simply means they came from somewhere. Whether they are from Katsina, from Kaduna, from Niger, from Sokoto, from Kano, they come from somewhere, like all of us. I am from somewhere. I am from Ijebu. So I did not feel so entitled, right, to now mobilize Ijebus and start killing people in northern part of Nigeria, simply because we feel like we could do that somehow. We can target on anything, but we're still going to start killing and all of that. Sure, you get? It won't make any sense. So if a Fulani is from Sokoto, Efunile ni Sokoto now, give him land in Sokoto. If a Fulani is from Kano, find land for them in Kano. The landmass in Nigeria, the northern part of Nigeria controls over 70% of the landmass in Nigeria, the whole space. Why should they come and start killing us in the, in the south? Here you get. Why should people leave their own place and start killing? And then you want to make that our own responsibilities, that we have to kind of like let them for peace. Like, how is that? Then we have the jihad, which is official jihad. All of us are infidels, right? Get rid of them and possibly take over their lands as well as the resources in those lands. Yesterday, the Ogun State governor said, they've banned open grazing in the southern part of Nigeria, including Ogun State. That was yesterday, right? But this morning, from the same Ogun State.
Open grazing is banned in Ogun State. But here it is, as you can see. In this location, there are farmlands around. There are farmlands in this location. And even before now, these elders have been disturbing this farming community. But we give sigh of relief when we learned about the declaration that open grazing had been banned. Not until we are witnessing this again. We are calling on the Ogun State government to please implement this law, because we don't want another communal clash that will be caused by open grazing again. This is unnecessary. This is in daylight. This is how we have been enduring them. As it is now, they may go into some of our farmlands and start grazing. And these are the things that usually lead to clashes between farmers and herders. We don't want it. We appeal to the relevant government agency to please speak with these herders, maybe their leaders or whoever that is in charge. Because when you speak to some of these herders, they are small boys. They don't even understand what they are doing. You can't even tell them that there's a declaration banning open grazing. They won't understand. So this is the current situation, and we need urgent attention. Thank you. Open grazing.
And that's how it is all over the place. Even though they will tell you on paper, they have a ban on open grazing. No. So they are everywhere, unfortunately. So Nigerian politicians talks a lot, and they intentionally do nothing. Intentionally. And wherever they pretend to be doing something, they want all the paparazzis, they want the photo ops, and it will all end up as they are actually they've done nothing. Let's go back to their Senate. The person that triggered Yayi to give that response on the floor earlier.
Asuko Ekpenyong, Senator representing Cross River South. Mr. President, before I go into the substantive part of this motion, I would like to state here, for the avoidance of doubt and for clarity, that from what I have gathered in this chamber today, what I have canvassed from all senators here, this Senate is one and is one-sided on this issue of insecurity. All 109 members of this Senate are on the same side, irrespective of tribe, religion, ethnicity, party, state of origin. And this Senate is committed to resolving this insecurity that has plagued this nation for over a decade. Mr. President, on to the substantive matter, the motion from Senator Ashiru. He mentioned various things during his motion, but three things stood out. One was when he selected or pointed out the local vigilante to commend them. Distinguished colleagues, security enforcement is most partly about intelligence gathering. Gathering of intelligence, analysis of intelligence, and disseminating this very intelligence. The local vigilantes are the grassroots. They live amongst the people, they dwell amongst the people. They live in rural areas and in forest communities, hunters, etc., farmers. We must find a way to integrate these local vigilantes into our security operations for communication and for effective networking. Number two, Your Excellency and distinguished colleagues, this has been addressed, but I feel it is extremely important and cannot be addressed enough. We as a Senate must identify and communicate to the people that elected us to be their voice. That part of the report that states that military personnel were withdrawn from that school in Kebbi. We must identify who gave the command and why. And that must be made public to the Nigerian people. Finally, and also as important, just like the last speaker mentioned, there is need, as Senator Ashiru alluded to review the Nigerian firearm law. We must get back to our people who elected us to represent them and find out their feelings on this. Distinguished colleagues, every man deserves the right to protect and defend his life. Asuko Ekpenyong, Senator.
Ekpenyong from Cross River, back at the senator that wanted us to get armed and defend ourselves. There is another drama on that same floor where one of the senators took his phone to Akpabiole to show him a video that made it to the internet this morning. That was from yesterday, by the way, where a bag of ammunition fell off a moving truck. Not just one, I think about 2 or 3 bags full of ammunition. Some people are debating that a lot of ammunitions have been moved across the country. So this time it was found on Ahmadu Bello University Road, Ahmadu Bello University Road away in Zaria, that it was caught and embedded. So this senator took it to Akpabiole to show to him the veracity of this insecurity thing and many things that are popping up on social media these days that should give them concern, right? I'm going to take you to that one. It's a bit long, all right? I've also added the video it was showing Akpabiole, by the way, in the midst of this clip, so that you have a glimpse as well. Now watch this.
We take only one example. The governor of Kebbi said that somebody ordered troops out and people were kidnapped. Till today, nobody in Nigeria knows what happened. And no question has been asked. And we are sitting down here as a parliament and we turn and we talk. Yet, somebody is responsible. If I'm the commander-in-chief, I will call the army commander in that place and the head of the army and say, if you don't get me the head of this person who withdrew the troops to put all these children in jeopardy, then you make an example of him. That is how a country is run. A country is not run on pacification. A country is run on confronting issues.
Nigerians are entitled to know, and it is no longer national secret. The commander of that area who ordered that those men be withdrawn, it is to be a national secret to be kept within military cycle. Nigeria should know the name and the person should be brought to justice under the Terrorist Act.
Families are suffering. Some people are living in their comfort places, making phone calls with these bandits. Can't we identify them? We can identify them. How do we do it? The gadgets were bought for the National Security Advisor. The gadgets were bought for telecommunications. They will be able to tell us where all these people are. But we are here, we are sending game blames. Who are we going to blame if this thing consumes all of us? It started from one local government. It started from Borno. In one local government. And today it's spreading everywhere. No state is immune.
Kidnapping has so much been commercialized. People are leaving their jobs in cities and villages. And kidnapping now is one of the best paying jobs in Nigeria. All across. In fact, kidnapping now pays more than oil. Kidnapping pays more than sitting as a senator or sitting in the villa. And therefore, as lawmakers, what do we need to do? We now look at kidnapping and say we must amend our laws to say kidnapping is a terrorist act and must therefore be treated as such and must therefore carry the death penalty.
We can continue to buy arms and ammunition and platforms from other countries, but that is not the way to go in the long run. Because we bought the Super Tucanos. What happened? So the sensors that we needed on those Super Tucanos were not made available. We have therefore every reason to devote so much resources and make the right policies and legislations for DICON, the Defense Industries Corporation of Nigeria, based in Kaduna, to function. The president, when he came into office, the DICON Act was one of the first acts he signed. And today, we have some companies that have to do with defense industries trying to come into Nigeria.
Let us use this opportunity to give the president or the leadership the necessary support in order to address this very serious problem of insecurity that is expanding to a level where government will sit down and negotiate with criminals or bandits or terrorists. The Nigerian Armed Forces and other security agencies are putting in their best. So, I'm really not comfortable with blaming them.
There are part of the report that states that military personnel were withdrawn from that school in Kebbi. We must identify who gave the command and why, and that must be made public to the Nigerian people. Finally, and also as important, just like the last speaker mentioned, there is need, as Senator Ashiru alluded to review the Nigerian firearm law.
Addition has been made that the laws of the Federation now on terrorism, anti-terrorism, all laws relating to terrorism and kidnapping, that kidnapping should be the penalty for kidnapping should be changed immediately to carry the maximum punishment of death. This has also been seconded, that henceforth, kidnapping should first be classified as a terrorist act and which should carry death penalty. Secondly, it will now carry death penalty. And like Senator Oshumole said, it is not up to any judge. Once the offense of kidnapping is established, the death penalty must follow. There is no discretion as to what kind of punishment should be given, that the judiciary should adhere. So let me put the question. Those in support that terrorism, no, that kidnapping should henceforth be described as a terrorist act, and that kidnapping should henceforth carry death penalty as a terrorist act in Nigeria.
Assalamu alaikum. Gashi wallahi sama da keji bulika a cikin wata mota suna cikin tafiya ba su san ya zube ba. Gashi
Senator Garba has just shown me another video right now happening in Zaria. Today is 26th. There is along Zaria Sokoto highway. Today, now,
the bullet was dropping.
The bullets were dropping and on the road. The driver did not know and was still going, and the bullets were dropping. I hope he has been apprehended. So I use this opportunity to call on the Commissioner of Police in Kaduna State to quickly send a team to go and escort the trailer loaded with bullets. Bullets are dropping on the road. The people are crying. I think we should stop further discussion on this matter and go into the prayers. But there is a lot of work to be done. So there's no need to, whatever you are going to say, Senator Plank, these bullets that are dropping on the ground, we need to make a resolution on this now, before the bullets find their way into the hands of the bandits. Are you going to say the bullets should not be? Okay, just say something now, because I don't want anybody to feel that it was shot out. Let's just use 30 seconds and say what you want to say, because these issues are too serious, and security really should not be discussed in the open like this.
Yes, sir.
But because of the peculiar circumstance that we have found ourselves, look at it's here.
Yes, sir.
I said, if Ahmed Bola Tinubu fails, hold me responsible.
You say?
I say, if Tinubu fails, hold me responsible.
Thank you.
The job people are already angry that this is the worst government.
We have just started.
We must learn a lesson.
This man!
You gotta trust man, hand down. Your eyes will see what your mouth cannot talk.
So, the senators were asking questions on the military that got withdrawn, right? And at the same time, they concluded that kidnapping in Nigeria should not be classified as a terrorist act or terrorism act, which will then carry death sentence. But when Akpabio saw these munitions and these bullets on the road, he wanted the commissioner of police to go and look for the truck. We don't cross path far away. But maybe Akpabio can help us arrest this one.
Mutanen mu sun shiga cikin gari to su kyale su su yadda su su kamar yadda aka saba. Muna godiya ga Allah subhanahu wataala da yana wannan rana mai matukar muhimmanci ta 17 ga watan 11 na shekara ta 2025 a wannan gari na Zarin Tudu wanda ke kusa da kasar Kakumi amma kuma cikin kasar Faskar. Da farko dai ina son in miƙa godiya ta musamman ga ainihin shugabanci, musamman shugabanci na 'yan uwan Fulani tun daga kan shi Alhaji Adamu Aliru da shi ainihin babban kwamandan mu wanda shi yanzu kwamanda ne na zaman lafiya kuma malami ne Malam Isa, tare da dukkanin sauran shugabannin Fulani da ke a wannan wurin da ma waɗanda ba su a wannan wurin. Sannan ina miƙa godiya ta musamman ga sauran shugabanni da muke aiki tare da su, musamman shi mai girma chairman da sauran makarraban shi na karamar hukumar Bakori, kasancewar tun wani lokuta ba kaɗan Allah ya sani mun zo mun shiga mutanen mu sun shiga.
So, I mean, that would make sense if Akpabiole can help ask the military or the police to arrest that local government chairman, as well as the terrorists next to him. There are many videos like that where these terrorists are wearing the military uniform Now listen to this. This is what makes it ridiculous, by the way. Not that these terrorists are sewing military camouflage for themselves. No. Most of the military uniform you see on these terrorists, they were the uniforms of the killed soldiers in Nigeria. You understand? That every military uniform that you see on terrorists in Nigeria, in order not to make it sound kind of like exaggerating, right? Let's say 99% of them, they are uniforms they took off the soldiers they killed. It is so bad that they will still be wearing the name tag of the soldier, Nigerian soldier that they killed. And again, like I said, what made it so much ridiculous is that these guys will wear these same military uniforms to attend peace meeting where other soldiers, Nigerian soldiers, are there. Because it's peace meeting. So that's what those senators are saying should end. But for Kolu, he had this to say.
I've been looking at the security situation more carefully. I've seen civilian JTF, or what you call it, to react to the security challenges. Find so many creative ways you people have been going to protect the neighborhood and communities around you. And that has provoked my thinking about, state police. Again, politics apart. We can discuss with the National Assembly leadership to really, look at critical path to that again. And see how we can eliminate those political alliances out of a state police that will be indigenous to the community and provide the additional safety buffer and effectiveness in the area. We have to look at it collectively together.
They've been looking at it for a very long time. He's not even sure what they are called. Civilian JTF, or what do you people call it? Yeah? The work you're doing and all of that. So we have to, we have to like increase the speed of the video so as to make it easier for you to at least watch. If not, it would have been like that. Call. So yeah, they are talking about the state police now, which means let the people protect themselves. But this is beyond state police. Tinubu created forest guard, remember? Yeah, last year, Tinubu created what he called the forest guards. And their job was to enter the forest and smoke out these terrorists. But guess what the forest guards are mostly doing? Where they have been deployed, though, they are working with Tinubu's Minister of Solid Minerals. And what's his name again? Why do you Anyway, so they are working with him, protecting mines where they have interest. In other places where people have been recruited, they have not been trained, they have not been deployed, and the rest of that. So, state police won't go into the forest. I don't think so. Yes, using the local solution, right, to tackle the local problem in this sense, to complement the military or the police, great. But all these things, by the way, they create millions of all these groups. There is still something there that is missing. And that is the political will to actually punish the terrorists. Not just the terrorists, their sponsors. One of the senators mentioned that, said they should look into the banks. Because this is an industry, a multi-billion dollars industry. A lot is going on behind the scenes, sabotaging every effort, up to the judiciary as well. So, which means if you have the political will that you really want to tackle this problem, right? By now, They should have made some mass arrests of some of the suspected terror sponsor in Nigeria. By now, that's what you show. That's how you send signal. Now, if you are not complicit, listen to this. So, if Tinubu and APC, if they are not complicit in all of this, here you get now. Right now, we should have had names of this sponsor that, even if they have this external factor, like everyone wants to, like many people want to believe, especially the conspiracy theorists, America is involved. They are the ones who are funding these people. Okay. A government that is not involved, a government that believes that the country is about to go up in smoke if nothing is done. So you are not part of it. What you have to do is that by now, hundreds of people should have been arrested. There is a 457 names, including some Burundi changes in Nigeria who are working with terrorists and terror sponsors, moving money, converting money. The names, they have the names. 100% northerners. 100% northerners. Funding, sponsoring terrorism in Nigeria. Government of Nigeria have the list. They have the names. So if by now, people want to send a message to everybody that it's no longer business as usual, this nonsense has to stop now. By now, they should have arrested some of them. There were some of them arrested, though. That's how their names got into it. They were arrested. And they used the same corrupt system to let them go. Like Mamu. There's a guy called Mamu, right? He was working with Sheikh Osama bin Gumi, right? In meeting with the terrorists, negotiating with the terrorists. In the process, right? This guy made over 800 million naira in ransom that he collected through him. Now, he's currently standing trial, by the way, but there are hundreds of Mamu who are currently adorning Agbada. Some of them are appearing on your TV, talking about this insecurity, offering solutions, giving ideas, all talks. But behind the scene, they are pulling all the necessary strings to keep these terrorists active. So a government that is not involved at this point, it's no longer about just shooting, mobilizing soldiers. It is about picking the people who are the sponsor, who are hiding safely in Nigeria and outside Nigeria. You will name them, you will pick them up, you will try them. In a short time, you will get them sentenced for the crime. That's how you send messages out. But all this talk about the state police, all this talk about, no. All those ones will now complement your action. You get that now? Because you have to cut the snake from the head. Or your attempt of trying to cut the tail is what made this whole thing lasted this long. And those who are making money from it, of course. Politicians are aware that their colleagues are involved in illegal mining. They suspect some of their own colleagues that they have their own armed militias across Nigeria. They know themselves. If they can know, then the government knows. So if things have gotten to this stage, there's a way they call it cleaning house. You clean the house. Doesn't mean that you are going to clear all these criminals at once. No. Cleaning house means everybody will just kind of like a simmer straight up and say, you know what? We need to study this guy for a while before we continue. Or else we may end up in the gallows, and not just in the gallows, we may end up in graves. That's how you do it, too. And it is because government have the capacity than you and I. Capacity means logistically and everything, every capacity to tackle this. But is it going to be politically possible? That is where the compromise comes in, where the lack of political wills comes in. And without any political will, all of this, they are just talks, unfortunately. Here is one of them too. This one is the son of El Rufaya, the Kaduna Little Finger, in their lower chamber yesterday.
Announcing plans it's executing them with clear timelines. This parliament must insist upon those timelines based on the president's recommendations. One thing I would like to add, Mr. Speaker, in addition to the recruitment, is the need for us to increase immediately the basic salaries and the welfares of police officers and soldiers, and we must find the money to do that. At present, Nigeria, put it this way, one police officer manages 600 Nigerians. The UN recommends that ratio should be 1 to 400. We are understaffed. The president has tackled that. That's one point in terms of the short-term solution. And I think, sir, you leadership and committee chairman like Honorable Jimmy Benson should keep an eye on this execution. We can't just make announcements. Let's say by February we're about to see X, Y, Z. That will help. In the medium term, sir, there was a conviction recently of a terrorist, Boko Haram. I believe his name is Husseini Ismail. He was convicted for 20 years by a high court. He was a Boko Haram terrorist. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was convicted, I think, last week, and his own conviction said life sentence. I don't understand why one terrorist is getting 20 years and the other is getting a life sentence if you're saying that. I think Pastor made a good point. There's this idea that justice is served differently, and it affects the problem. Mr. Speaker, I'll conclude by saying this. I've been an advocate of state police. I've sought the wisdom of more experienced members like Honorable Sada Soli, Honorable Adodogwa, even yourself and the Speaker. I think the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting different results. Somebody said that earlier. We cannot be sitting in Abuja and expecting operations to be efficient in Benue. We have to go back to communal policing. You that are older than us always tell us there was a time when if a just comes to a community, everybody knows him. We have to get the traditional leaders involved and go back to state policing. This parliament, under your leadership, and I know the excellent work you're doing in the Constitutional Review Committee, is looking at that. Sir, no time for election talk now. We have to tell the public a timeline to roll this out. The fear that governors will abuse it always shocks me because they already have all that power. I'll finally end by putting myself in trouble as usual. The North has an issue. My honorable sister mentioned why we've become a breeding ground for such things. This is why. We are not sending our children to school. Of late, you have bandits on TikTok holding monies. The younger people, younger than myself, that have no employment and no skill because we've neglected them. It's a failure on all our parts over the years. Mr. Speaker, these young people go on TikTok and see a criminal holding minted cash. He's suddenly exciting. You want to emulate him. Mr. Speaker, we can do whatever we want to do in terms of FDI, IGR, investments, but we are failing in our primary duty, which is to protect the people we serve. We must increase the welfare of police officers. Recruitment should not be by allocation, sir. Each state should provide the exact amount of numbers. It should be digitized. We should look for young Nigerians that want to join the army to serve, not because it's a job that's seen as something else. I'm sorry if I spoke too friendly, Mr. Speaker. We are relying on you and the members of the Constitutional Review Committee to not only follow up with the President's excellent announcement, but to finally roll out state police in this country. I hope I made my point, and I really appreciate the session today. And once again, sorry I came late. Thank you so much.
30 seconds more. You still have another 30 seconds.
Oh, I thought I didn't have time, Mr. Speaker. Fine, with the 30 seconds, let me... Sir? What? No, sir. I think the reason why I spoke like that, Mr. Speaker, is the passion is enough. You said something that I appreciated, and Honorable Benson said something earlier, and I was at fault. Chagai and I were joking about something.
All right. That's enough. So now the talk for the state police seem to have been gaining more sort of like voices now, I would say. So which means there could be something like that anytime. Nah, there won't be anything like that. Nah, there won't be. But yeah, they are talking about it now anyway. However, we'll see how that kind of like plays out, because they are now talking about recruiting you into the army. Here you get recruits more personnel. Tinubu said they should go and recruit 20,000 more soldiers, and the police are also expected to also recruit more in order to defend Nigeria. The police IG also said, but because of Tinubu's directives, right, they have now withdrawn 11,000 something policemen who were providing security for the VIPs in Nigeria. Meanwhile, the VIPs are your politicians, as well as maybe your pastors, some of you always like have money to hire few ones to guide you. You won't have them anymore, they said, right?
I have seen some things posted on the social media, misleading. People are quoting figures. I don't know where they got their figures. Where they said that 120,000 policemen are attached to private individuals in Nigeria. These are lies. Not true. I don't know where they got their figure from. And that's the figure that's been brandished everywhere. That 120,000 policemen. How many are we in Nigerian police that would attach 120,000 to private individuals? The recent presidential directive that we should withdraw policemen from VIP protection made us to discover that 11,566 policemen are engaged in VIP protection as at today in Nigerian police force. Of course, this is not the first time we are implementing this type of directives. Recently, I gave instruction that policemen should be withdrawn from private individuals, and those private individuals desirous of police protection should reapply, because we saw the need to profile these individuals that are applying for police protection. And we carried out that exercise. During that time, a number of policemen were withdrawn, many of them not reassigned before this presidential order came. So it's something that we have been doing. But the recent presidential order will make the implementation more effective. Now that it is presidential order, there won't be pressure on the IG. In fact, the presidential order is a cover for us to implement this directive that we have been trying to implement all this while. So you can see that the implementation is going to be more effective this time around, because I know that nobody is going to call IG again that, please, these are my people. No governor is going to call me, no minister is going to call me. Friends, my family members will not put any pressure on me because they know it's presidential order. And I'm sure they are not going to put any pressure on any of my commissioners of police because they know that this is presidential order. So the implementation is going to be very effective this time around. And we are going to deploy these men to the areas where we need them. We are returning to our frontline policing function, especially at this critical time. Every time we are talking of manpower need, manpower shortage, and now that we have surplus of 11,566 that are coming, we are redeploying to core policing functions, is going to help us a lot. We will not neglect the welfare of these men. Mr. President, who gave this instruction, knows very well. He knows more than all of us. He knows very well that the welfare of these men is important, and anyone we are sending to the rural communities, to these remote communities, their welfare will be taken care of. That I can assure you.
We will work with you to build a Nigeria that is not corrupt. I bring you a message of hope.
We are going to spend
spend a lot of resources on education.
Irọ́. You feel me? Lórí irọ́. Now, could you see, by listening to the supposed illegal police IG, Igbetokun, you can easily see a pure sycophant. When he said, Tinubu knows more than them. How can Tinubu know more than you about your job? You are the one advising Tinubu. You are the one giving him information. It is what you know that Tinubu will know, especially when it comes to policing, Abi. But no, they have to sing that praise. They have to lick at the crack of the emperor. He's so intelligent. He knows everything. He's this and that. And you're like, right. You guys are just a bunch of sycophants around the praise singers. So yeah, they've withdrawn 11,566 policemen on paper. Trust me, it's on paper. However, because if it's not on paper, that broadcast, that video was yesterday. Oh, yeah. Then the moment after that, this happened just between last night and this morning.
There are 4 plus the one we wear trousers. That one just stand outside. We look for them.
I don't know if you want to again. But now, you just walk around to find where the people.
That sound. That's my guy look great. Okay. Let me cover their face. They still reach 5 minutes. Okay, Oyo cannot should go. So without if the
they attempted to break into that house. And from what I heard, that was in Abuja. So they attempted to. Then, in the middle of all of that, with a very strong security door that held them back, somebody finally shot gun. The moment they heard that, oh, there is gun in this place, they all picked it, they ran away. That is one of the reasons why the right people, hardworking people, who struggled and built something for themselves, deserves to live and sleep peacefully in their own homes. And anybody who comes in to trespass in that regard, right, they have the right to defend themselves. Do you understand? So, if the policemen that is claimed that Igbetokun claimed to have withdrawn from private works, blah, 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 if they were enough, I think, I'm just saying, they should have been much effective. And by now, you should be feeling it. But no, it is just on paper. There's nobody withdrawn. You will still see your celebrity with 3-4 more polls tomorrow. Right? You are still going to see the family of politicians still being guarded by these supposed policemen they claim to have withdrawn, right? Now let's take this on the side. What happened in Kogi today? So there were reports of, Fulani terrorist invasion of Lokoja, the state capital, as well as Sekaba. There were others who said that no, the alarm actually got to Kogi Poly, where students, right, were scampering to safety. And there are short clips that shared what happened around Kogi this afternoon.
Oh, guys, it's real. Oh, guys.
So there were reports of people being kidnapped. A whole bus, including their driver, was also taken. I want to check the name of the place here. It's called the Sokoko. Sorry, 1 second. Sorry about that. The sound, right? So that was from Kogi. Meanwhile, the last part of the video was that of the travelers who were kidnapped. The entire bus was taken, all the passengers were taken, including another kind of like a car in front. So why that happened? They said that road, the road is Osokoko Obajana Road. That last part of the video. All of that in Kogi today. No wonder the likes of Asabuja have decided to go and bring back their supposed Niger Delta amnesty weapons. I say, well, don't come to Port Harcourt, don't come to rivers, and be careful in the Niger Delta, because here they are.
Yeah, we are ready to go. We are ready. All right, go. Well done. Like you. Well done. Yes. Soldiers, easy. You're welcome. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Welcome to Nigeria. That is why I sort of like fear for if this whole thing is so mismanaged enough that the people have to act to defend themselves. In this sense, we are going to create different kinds of militia groups who are going to end up controlling their own territory until Nigerian government will have nowhere to claim any authority on. Because it's going to get to that stage. It is reported that, of course, the Fulani terrorists and the Boko Haram terrorists and their sponsor, indeed, now that they have escalated this issue of insecurity in the southern part of Nigeria, they are also eyeing your oil. Yeah, the one that Donald Trump wants to come and steal your oil, America. But the terrorists are also eyeing your oil. And the Niger Delta militants or retired militants or hibernating militants have decided to oil their own machines just in case of incasity. So it's not going to end well, right? So on the part of Nigeria, like generally, Ndume, by the way, was with Sheung this evening. He was talking about the National Assembly having a quarterly sitting. So you get now, like maybe just sitting every quarter, rather than having this full-time job. And the money they are paying them, they should add it to the security money to fund the military. And also, it says something about the space, like Nigeria should have these satellites there, that Nigeria doesn't have any. And that's why Nigeria couldn't really capture the images of all these terrorists like America would, okay? So in his own words, please watch this.
It's important for Nigerians to know where our deficiencies are so that we can pick ourselves. So this embarrassment is too much. These ragtag, these people that are less than 4,000 or 5,000, terrorizing a population of 200 million. It's shameful. Yeah. And if we cannot call ourselves to order and say, what exactly do we need? How many satellites do we need to be able to monitor? Do we really have the satellite? If you have the satellite, why not call NICOMSAT? Why not call the Minister of Science and Technology? Who are the people that are supposed to be asking questions? We're talking about the families of dead citizens of Nigeria, innocent citizens that are dead. Why are we not waking up in this country? Senator, what do we know? What do we have in terms of manpower? Do we have the technology? Do we have the IT to be able to fight this terrorism? Or we're not using them?
You look agitated.
I'm very pained. My state is affected. Your state is affected.
Now you feel the pitch. When we were talking about Boko Haram 15 years ago, in fact, I was nearly sent to prison. Because as I was talking, the way I'm talking now, the government then wanted to make me a scapegoat. But that is by the side. Let's go to the important, not lamenting, not getting frustrated. No, just calm down. This time I'm the one that will calm you down. Okay, we have a problem. We must admit that we have that problem first. But fortunately now that the government, the president, is looking more responsive than he was. These measures that he has taken recently is commendable, but that is not enough. The major problems are known: training, equipment, ammunition, and motivation. Let me take it one by one. The training.
Senator, just a moment. The question that I asked earlier, and we will go to all of those issues, is this satellite matter. We cannot sweep it on.
Okay, let me tell you the matter.
Do you know the reason? You know the reason why I'm going to ask this question, and we're going to investigate. Nigeria has paid money.
Yeah.
We've invested.
Yeah.
It's like the CCTV cameras on the street of Abuja that suddenly disappeared. Who got the contract? Who paid for it? Where are the CCTV cameras? These are supposed to fight crime and criminality. The same thing with our satellite. How the federal government should come out to tell us how many satellites do we have? Why are we not able to track these criminals? Don't we have the technology to be able to track them? GSM technology, satellite technology. We need answers in this country. And that's why we cannot sweep it under the carpet, Senator.
Well, you are asking me as if I'm the DG.
No, because you're a member of the Senate Committee. Nigerians need to know.
Maiyegun, you have started again. You come here to interview me, not to interrogate me.
I'm not interrogating you.
This is what you are trying to do. I'm not here for
I want us to stay on that matter.
I'm even more interested. I'm telling you from the sources I have, and I don't have to tell you the sources, is that Nigeria has 3 satellites in the outspace there. And that is not to say it's not, no big deal. I think it's one of the highest in Africa. But then, to orbit, it is orbiting. This satellite operation is orbiting. If you want to have real time, then you need to have more satellite in the outspace there, so that you can have your information as the satellite orbits the Earth, coming back to Nigeria's station and like that. We don't have that capacity. If we had that capacity, even beginning from the Chibok girls and all that, when America was giving us information, they had their satellite on us, and that's why they were able to give us further information, because if they zoom on that, you get it. But in that Nigeria's case, it's not there. We don't have the satellite images that is required. We only have aerial images, like the Nigerian Air Force has what they call UAVs, about 6 of them or so. We have about 12 Tucanos, right? We have about some few attack helicopters. But all this cannot work effectively if you don't have the coverage of where your people are, where are the enemies, And that you can only do through the satellite. And for now, it is not something that we'll say, oh, Nigerian government should do it immediately. But it is something that we can collaborate with bigger countries like China, Russia, even France, or particularly US. US has about 5,000, more than 8,500 satellites out there. We only have 4. And when you say you want to have real images, you can say, so I don't know where that information is coming. Yes, if you use your Google this thing now, you can see what is happening in your house. If you install cameras in your house and then you use is it the recent camera system, you can attach it to your device and see it right here in the studio. But you can't see what is happening in Sambisa. You can't see what is happening in the forest of.
Important for Nigeria.
So Nigeria needs to get into space so as to be able to see what is everything that is happening from the above. But what about those who are already seeing things from the below already, like what is happening on ground? How many of such information have they actually really used? And when they use them, did they actually really get rid of the terrorists? Or they just do their own catch and release, which is what they have been doing. You know, so they are sabotaging their own effort, if there is any effort at all. Here you get now. How do you capture terrorists? You are comfortable in releasing them in a civilian way. That these northern governors, including local government chairmen, are like hobnobbing with these terrorists openly, making it seem like they are just normal people. And these are people, oh dear. Here you get. So you are sabotaging the same effort. So if you want to deal with it, you have to deal with those people first. With that kind of mindset, there are those from northern part of Nigeria, by the way, who believes that these guys are just being misunderstood. I mean, some of them have spoken out, like you've seen them publicly. But there are those who have not spoken out publicly, but they genuinely feels like, yeah, these guys are not doing anything wrong. You reacting the way you are reacting just makes it even worse because you don't understand them. I was like, why do I need to understand them? People are already living in fear. And the only way to allay their fears is to ensure that the perpetrators are actually brought to book and they see that justice is done. And then you also care for the victims. Baba, there are over 20 million Nigerians displaced, living in refugee camps. They've left their communities, thousands of them. Schools have been destroyed. Thousands of schools have been destroyed. Millions of children are now out of school in that part of the country. That's massive. So you shouldn't be comfortable seeing people freeing and releasing terrorists who are committing all these atrocities and they are not stopping. Doesn't make any sense. At Mawuko in Abeokuta North this evening, somebody uploaded a video because they saw a convoy of bikes in their community and now they are raising alarm online. Let me help them. This is Mawuko earlier this evening.
J bandits say bandages, bro. Oh my.
So do you get what I mean? Things have gotten to a stage whereby people have become so worried about things they never really pay attention to before. So when they begin to see like tens of bikes in convoy, strange guys, so they become so like agitated, right? Apprehensive. So as like, because they're not sure. And you see the environment as well. Dark, no electricity, no good road, no nothing. So the problems that these guys have, foisted on the country for so long due to their own corruption, as well as their incompetence and whatever else that contributed to all of this, will tell you that if you want to solve this Nigeria's problem, where do you really want to start from? fix electricity, start fixing infrastructure in rural areas who are mostly vulnerable, by the way, in this whole thing, right? Those of you who live in the city, state capitals, you are likely never, right, going to see things like those who are living in the rural areas, border towns, far communities who have been like cut off from civilization in most cases, because there's no good roads, there's no schools, there's no nothing in these areas, that they are so cut off. These are their easy targets. And these are the areas they have turned to ungoverned areas. And as they are saying, it's coming to town next to you if nothing is done. So Peter Obi was in London yesterday, where he kind of like met Nigerians, asking him questions. So he was, again, speaking on the state of the nation, Nigeria, and kind of like considering the potential of the country, what the country could have been if all this madness is not happening. So I am going to take it to that school where he had that chat yesterday. So watch this.
Is there agriculture, is the food? We can make more money today from agriculture than we make from money. Listen, we can make clearly more money. Netherlands, which is here, is a country with water, 41,000 square kilometers. Without water, 30,000. Annually, they make from agricultural, export of agricultural related products, 120 billion euros. That is about $130 billion. That's 3 times what we make from oil. For somebody with 3,000 square kilometers of land. Our biggest state, which is actually has all the fertile land, everything, is Niger State. Niger State is 76.3 thousand square kilometers, 2.5 times the size of Netherlands. And Netherlands, and it's very fertile. And Netherlands is about 17 million people. Niger State is about 7. You can go on and on. The place that is giving us problems today is Borno State, where we have Sambisa Forest. Sambisa Forest is agricultural land. It's not supposed to be giving us problems. The entire Sambisa area is 60,000 square kilometers. That is twice the size of Belgium. Belgium is about 30,000 square kilometers. It's 3 times the size of Israel. Israel is about 22,000 square kilometers. Times 3 is 66. Compared with 60, it's same size. And these countries are called to feed themselves and they export. Our own is causing us trouble. Why? It's a push. Bring it down. Turn it into agricultural product. Today, Morocco is exporting food to Europe. The world is looking for food. Where we should be looking for food. We are a country that have all it takes to feed ourselves, be able to export more. Ukraine had war. The world was shaking because of grain. And if you don't know, Ukraine gave us, why they are still at war, they gave Nigeria grain to help us manage our house. That war. The entire Ukraine, northern Nigeria, is over 25% bigger than Ukraine. The entire Ukraine is about 600,000 square kilometers. Northern Nigeria about 750,000 square kilometers. So what are you doing? I can go on and on. If you go to third world countries like Bangladesh, for example, Bangladesh produces 10 times the amount of rice we produce. That is a third world country. I'm just giving you an example. Bangladesh is 158,600 square kilometers of land. Yet they produce 50 to 60,000 million metric tons of rice. We don't produce 10% of that. Our 2 biggest states, Niger and Borno, put together 76.3 and 70.8, put together is about the size of Bangladesh. And Bangladesh has almost 170 million people living there, so it's heavily dense. As against our own, I can go on and on. So you must move the country from consumption to productivity. It's not a rocket science. It is leadership. You must dismantle the criminality and say enough is enough. Let's move this country forward. And to move forward is to invest your resources, your small. What do you mean dependent on the West? You can't be. What are you dependent on them? I can tell you we have better weather than this place. We have better food than they have. Our economy has better potential than that. I lived here for 12 good years. I want to finish that and run back because nobody wants to stay in this weather. We don't really have anything. No. We want to do it. We have a better environment. So we want to drive that process by having order and stability that works. And it's well.
You said that it seems agriculture is one area you think that could use reform. What would you say are the 3 immediate areas that Nigeria could use reform?
You know, I said about where you used to measure development. Number one is, you go to the HDI, which is the most critical measure of development. Number one item is health, life expectancy. Your life expectancy today is too low, at 54. It's not acceptable. Because comparable state countries, Indonesia, Bangladesh, India, Philippines, are all above 65. So you can't go there. Number 2 is education, literacy rate. Go and check all these countries. They're all above 85 in literacy rate. And you are again at 50 something. Number 3 is putting people out of poverty. We have more people living in poverty today than China, with 1.4 billion, and India with 1.4 billion combined. What the national poverty? It's not acceptable. And there's things you can do to drive this process. Power generation is not rocket science. I discussed it yesterday. The 3 countries that change power generation in 5 years are Egypt, Vietnam, and India. They all 10 war countries. I visited them. I went to Egypt. It's nothing. It's not okay. You blind school, yeah, so you know that. It's not rocket science. If you're determined, the companies today in Europe, seniors and everything, you can give a sovereign guarantee and say, we're going to deal with this and everything. Why is it not working? Leadership. Everything begins and ends with leadership. A leader must be dedicated and focused to do what is required.
I think now statistic we go chop. A lie with arithmetic that no Indian can solve it.
Nuisance lele.
So to call you is a waste of time. All these statistics that Obi is talking about, that one is not what they want to chop. Because to Tinubu, jeun soke, go to jeun sapo. Shumokoto mean? Jeun soke means you go raise your hand. Baba, oh, the all right sirs, right? Baba. Then they go give you something. You go shop. Go put something in your pocket. That's Tinubu's politics. In fact, that is Tinubu's kind of idea of empowerment. So all these statistics about Bangladesh, all this, even Tinubu's Minister of Defense said this headline, that they cannot bomb Sambisa forest because bandits are located in forest, bomb can't penetrate. Bomb can't penetrate. This is the Minister of Defense of Nigeria. So now, if you are given an idea that they should turn Sambisa forest to a farmland like Netherlands, like Belgium, like Bangladesh, Like, no, they will say, wait till this one they talk. You want us to go to the Sambisa to go and face this terrorist. He's talking nonsense. And guess what? Educated people will agree with them because they are APC. They say that will be no get sense. Waiting they talk self. He's just talking nonsense. Because people will hear them, the one representing them in government, they have the same mindset. The mindset that, no, leave them in the forest. You want to go and fight terrorists in place that bomb cannot penetrate. Do you know how big Sambisa is? Do you know how big? Do you know Malagadi forest? Because that's another forest. That's not the name. I can't remember the name, so I made that up. Apart from Sambisa, there's another one next to it. That one is like 1.5 of Sambisa. So all these forests have been occupied by these terrorists. So a minister is telling you that, you know, they look for wahala. We don't want trouble. Let's leave them there. But we can turn the place to a farmland where, here you get, say, which farmland? You want to go and farm in Sambisa? A minister is telling you that. It's not just a minister of defense. Somebody who have access to intels, who have access to information that you and I can never have access to, ever. Took the microphone in public and told everybody that bombs cannot penetrate the forest where these terrorists are because they don't have the intention of going after them. No. In that same forest, they killed this man. They took him and his wife. Let me see if I can put more of their photos on the screen, right? So they took him and his wife, Venerable Edwin Archie. Give me a second, sorry. Right? When they kidnapped them, they demanded for 50 million naira. Okay? So, I'm coming on. I want to put their picture on so that I can share with you properly. Take a look at this. That was him. Well, okay, let's go back to this. This was him and his wife, Sarah. And they took them, they kidnapped them. The terrorists that took them used their own phones to take their pictures and send it to their family members. They were demanding for 50 million naira. So they took them last October, by the way. This was around October 24th or thereabout. That was when they kidnapped them, right? And then they uploaded their image just about 2 days or 3 days ago, demanding for that ransom to remind everybody that they will kill them if they... Now, the church has received the news that it's been October 28th, rather. Yeah, that's when they were kidnapped. Venerable Edwin, who was kidnapped along with his wife on the 28th of October, has been confirmed dead. His transition is a painful loss to the entire diocese, the clergy, the church. That's a sad one, by the way. So, but they are still keeping his wife, I believe, as we speak. So, for those of them who are in charge of your security, telling you that these terrorists have forests that bomb cannot penetrate, should tell you everything you need to know. All right? But I want Obi to finish. He said more in that conversation. Please watch.
To do what is required. Everything that is required to make it move, you can do it. That's what makes a difference. Whether you see what happened in China or in India or Indonesia and everything. I read a book this year. At the very beginning of this year, I read a book called Growing Apart. It's by Professor Louis of John Hopkins. Growing Apart is comparing Nigeria and Indonesia. After reading it, I went to John Hopkins to meet Professor Louis. And after meeting him, I decided to go to Indonesia. So I spent about 8 days in Indonesia, meeting from Minister of Planning, Minister of Education, Minister of Small Village, Minister of Health, meeting them, meeting the Vice President, and meeting their most popular president, Joko Widodo. We spend hours. And what they're saying is something that I know is doable. They did it, so we can do it. We're not inventing anything, we're not creating anything. It's something that's been done somewhere. A country that has similar trajectory and everything. Again, we have September this year, I met Professor James Robinson of Chicago University, who wrote Why Nations Fail. James Robinson was given Nobel Prize last year with his counterpart. And when he was in one of his lectures, he said, so many nations know what to do to prosper, but refuses to do it. Example of such nation is Nigeria. He didn't say example is there, he said it was set. So I went to him, I sat down and I said, listen, I just came here to tell me what we didn't do. What he's saying is what I know. Leadership.
Put your hand up if you learned something today. Okay. Keep your hand up if you're from Nigeria. Keep your hand up if you were born outside of Nigeria. So as you can see in the room, we have a lot of Nigerians and a lot of diaspora. And I think one thing that we'd like to know is what can Nigerians and the diaspora and just wider the African community do to impact Nigeria in the next decade?
Let me tell you one of the things people tell me every day. Oh, we have brain drain in Nigeria. Oh, we have brain drain in Nigeria. I said, no. It's not true. We have brain drain. I live here when most of the schools, top business schools, top schools, were full of Indians, Asians, Chinese, everything here. It was the same thing in America. There was a time, Dean of Kellogg Graduate School, India. Dean of Kellogg, Oxford Business School, India. Cambridge, Asia, all in. What happened? They've all gone back. If you create all these people who are born here, if you create a conducive environment in Nigeria, they will come. They will live here because there's nothing. Who wants to live in cold? They will not come. They will be the first to tell you they are Nigerians. What we are Africans. We have lovely places, the beach, everything. No. What is here? Absolutely nothing. We have family, we enjoy us. We have family, we want to build, we show we are more compassionate people, love each other. You want to live in an environment where even for people to greet you is very difficult. You want to live in a place where they say, oh, how are you? My sister, how are you? My brother. We are very compassionate, lovely people who want to, and we share each other's grief, pain, everything. Unlike here, you're on your own always. I'm telling you, but you need to, nobody takes it. Nobody gets up in the morning and go where there's insecurity. Nobody will do that. If they tell you that, please, we are going to pay you the highest amount of money for you to go and work in Sudan, you won't go. Because you're not sure whether you're alive to enjoy the money that you're paying. So we need to fix it and make it work. And if you make it work, people used to come back in their droves. People who went to school abroad, when I asked them, they will come back. Most of them went there because there's nothing functioning, they can come back.
Will you go back if they fix insecurity in Nigeria? I know many of you will go back if they fix the insecurity. But there are those who want more things to be fixed. The problem of the contraption is not just the insecurity. In fact, it is the problem of the contraption that created the insecurity, the imbalance, the injustice, decades of it, right? So there's so much to fix. But that's the question. You may be young and all that, but I can tell you there are people who want to go back. I don't know, like whether it is Nigeria, whether it is Biafra, or it's ended up becoming, like everybody go their separate ways. There are many, many of us that want to go back, but not like this. Yeah, for different reasons as well. Anyway, that is where we should round it up again tonight. I want to say thank you to every one of you, as usual. But you have to remember to do me that usual lovely favor, and that is, please like the broadcast if you haven't already. Share it as well, please. And, of course, join me next time on Maiyegun's Diary Politico. Good night.
Maiyegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Maiyegun Diary, Maiyegun number 1. Maiyegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Maiyegun Diary, Maiyegun number 1. Maiyegun ti dé o, ọ̀rẹ́ ará ìlú. Maiyegun Diary, Maiyegun number 1. Lórí Facebook, lórí YouTube. Maiyegun Diary, Maiyegun number 1. Gbogbo bó ṣe ń lọ ni Maiyegun já wa sí. Maiyegun Diary, Maiyegun number 1. Àṣírí ọ̀jẹ̀lú kì í bò níbẹ̀ o. Maiyegun Diary, Maiyegun number 1. Bó bá ṣe eré àní Maiyegun máa wí. Maiyegun Diary, Maiyegun number 1. Ó sì tún ṣe eré wàá gbọ́ níbẹ̀ o. Maiyegun Diary, Maiyegun number 1. Maiyegun Diary, Diary Politico. Maiyegun Diary, Maiyegun number 1. Godfatherism kò sí lọ́rọ̀ Maiyegun. Maiyegun Diary, Maiyegun number 1. Ẹ farabalẹ̀ sẹ́ o kẹgọ́rọ̀ lẹ́nu o. Maiyegun Diary, Maiyegun number 1. Àní Maiyegun làwa mọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Maiyegun Diary, Maiyegun number 1. Àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Maiyegun ti dé. Maiyegun ti dé. Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn rákì. Maiyegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Maiyegun ti dé. Lórí Facebook. Maiyegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Maiyegun ti dé. Lórí YouTube. Maiyegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Maiyegun ti dé. Bọ́ bàbá gbé wúrẹ́. Maiyegun máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Maiyegun ti dé. Ijó ìgbádìyẹ. Maiyegun máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Maiyegun ti dé. Bí pẹ̀sìdó bá rúfin o. Maiyegun máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Maiyegun ti dé. Bí gómìnà kówó jẹ. Maiyegun máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Maiyegun ti dé. Ọlọ́pàá ti ń darí bá. Maiyegun máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Maiyegun ti dé. Aṣòfin tí ń rúfin o. Maiyegun máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Maiyegun ti dé. Òpùrọ́ olóṣèlú. Maiyegun máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Maiyegun ti dé. Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn rákì. Maiyegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Maiyegun ti dé. Maiyegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn rákì. Maiyegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn rákì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, ọmọ bá dèrò ní fi wọ́n níran o. Maiyegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn rákì.
Maiyegun ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súra kì ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ òní fi wọ́n níran.
wọ́n fowó bẹ́ẹ̀ o Maiyegun ó sọ pé wọ́n ò bẹ́ẹ̀ wọ́n fowó bẹ́ẹ̀ Maiyegun ó sọ pé wọ́n ò bẹ́ẹ̀ oníkanṣá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe fáwọn ará ìlú tó gbé wọn débẹ̀ o ayé.
Maiyegun ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súra kì Maiyegun ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súra kì ṣùgbọ́n ní má ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ òní fi wọ́n níran.
Kì máa yí ṣe eré.